UNT students took to the Union to protest events in the Middle East.
Climate change is upping the temperatures and prices. Stay with us to see how this might cost you.
Have a favorite business in Denton? Get ready to cast your votes.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is NTTV Nightly News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on NTTV Nightly News. I'm Mauricio Ortiz-Segura.
And I'm Chanel Young. The Israel-Palestinian conflict overseas has created a divide in our UNT community. The UNT Palestine Solidarity Committee rallied this morning to protest an event on campus. The event featured a Zoom Q&A with Israel Defense soldiers. The Q&A was one of the events of UNT Hillel's Israel Week for the Jewish community. About 100 UNT students gathered to protest.
Students have power on our campus. This is our campus. We live here. This is our community. We have a right to demand who is and is not welcome in our community.
Thank you. This protest is a continuation of the organization's efforts in Denton.
Earlier this spring, Denton's police chief Doug Shoemaker resigned. Last night, the Denton City Council voted to appoint Jessica Robledo as the new interim chief. It was a 6-1 vote, making Robledo the first woman to serve as a police chief in Denton. Robledo comes with 34 years of public safety experience and last served as the chief of the Pflugerville Police Department. Now, while Denton welcomes a new member of the police force, here at UNT we are saying goodbye to one of our police veterans. He is Keegan, our bomb-sniffing dog, who is heading to a great retirement with a lot of tummy rubbing and dog biscuits. NTTV's Jim Peeler and photographer Abe Park caught up with Keegan and his human partner.
One of UNT PD's most distinguished officers, Canine Officer Keegan, a bomb-sniffing dog, is retiring after 6 years of service. Keegan has developed a special bond with his handler, Lieutenant Nicholas Bruckle.
I've been working with Keegan since 2018. It's been almost 6 years. He was about a year and a half old. They went through testing to make sure he was good around people, and then the drive to work. And once they determined that he was going to be a good working dog, they put him through the paces of learning how to smell explosives. And he spent, again, the first year and a half of his life training until I got to the training facility. And then we spent 7 weeks together. And after that, when I brought him home, it is constantly training to maintain his skills and sharpness. So his career here, we have swept numerous events here for football games. And when I say sweep or swept, we searched the areas prior to these big events to make sure they were safe. And so we've done that. We've helped out other agencies, and we've been through numerous scenario-based trainings, and they do try to make them as real as possible. A lot of those just to watch how well he works and how truly efficient he is. It's really such a joy to watch. That's probably the most memorable thing, is watching him work and then succeed and do so well. Retirement for him, he will he'll get to enjoy it. He'll get to just be a dog. He still kind of wants to work. I'm going to ease him into retirement even after he officially retires. And he'll just get to play with his doggy brother, Tommy. He'll get to have lots of treats, and he gets to have his toy ball pretty much whenever he wants it. So Keegan's been a great partner.
For NTTV News, I'm James Peeler.
Oh my gosh, Keegan is just the cutest, and we really appreciate the work that he's done. I wonder how he's going to enjoy retirement.
Oh, I'm sure he's out there rolling around in the grass and just enjoying the warm sun, but we're definitely feeling the sun, and I can't really see it, no thanks to all of these clouds. Kayla, what's going on with the current forecast?
While it is finally getting warm, we will begin to see some clouds that will remain until at least tomorrow. Right now it is 84 degrees, feeling a little bit warmer at 89 with wind speeds at 14 miles per hour coming from the southeast region. And as you can see, those clouds will linger to tonight. It's going to cool down to 75, feeling the same with wind speeds slowing down to 9 miles per hour. Now tomorrow, those clouds will indicate to a chance of rain, so be sure to check out for that. There also might be thunder. It'll be 79 degrees, feeling a little bit warmer at 83 with wind speeds picking up to 12 miles per hour. That's all I have for now. Be sure to tune in for this week's full weather.
Thanks, Kayla. If you've been to Dallas, you know that there's plenty of good food to find, but chances are there's still some hidden gems you still don't know about. I got to find a few of these gems and try some of their food over at the 214 Asian Foodie Market this weekend to see just what I was missing out on. Take a look.
It's no question that Dallas, with its diverse population, has been recognized as having some of the most diverse dining across the United States, named 4th in the nation by Trulia back in 2016. I had the chance to experience a taste of this for myself over the weekend when I attended the first ever 214 Asian Foodie Market at downtown Dallas's Four Corners Brewing Company.
This event is just like an event I wanted to do to bring the community together. I went through the brewery first because I know they host a lot of events and markets here. So we looked at the space and I was like, hey, I want to do this. And they're really cool people, so they're like, yeah, let's try it.
Over 1,000 people were estimated to have shown up for this event, way surpassing even Nathan's expectations. Many of the vendors being shown here, such as Nathan's own Inusan Onigiri, Crunchy's Egg Rolls, and Jaywalk Kitchen, also don't have brick and mortars, meaning that you can mainly catch them at festivals or pop-up events like this. And of course, you know I had to try some of the food. The dumplings from the Drunken Dumpling, who came all the way in from California, were outstanding.
It's good.
And the Japanese cheesecake from Churn and Bake was spongy and addictive. You really couldn't go wrong with any of the choices at the market. And there was one sponsor in particular that customers could thank for that.
Our big sponsor for the event is actually called Asian Grub and DFW. So it's a big Facebook group. So that's our main sponsor, actually. And that Facebook group has 60,000 members, all for supporting small businesses. It started during the pandemic, so which grew over time. So that's a big portion of our following right there.
So many Asian cultures were on display at the market, such as Cambodian, Filipino, Japanese, Indonesian, and Vietnamese. But Nathan is also planning to expand the market to include non-Asian foods in the near future. So if you're looking for a chance to diversify your palate, be on the lookout for food markets just like this one.
This was an amazing event to attend and the food was oh so good. And again, this was sponsored by Asian Grub and DFW, so be on the lookout for anything that might have their name attached to it, and be sure to check out Nathan's Inusan Onigiri. And Chanel, speaking of businesses, do you have a favorite local business here in Denton?
I don't know. There's so many establishments to choose from. It's so hard to choose. But if you have any, now is your chance to show them some appreciation. NTTV's Giancarlo Lopez tells us more.
Man, it is hot today. But do you know what else is hot? Is our competition. These restaurants right here are booming, being in tip-top shape, looking for a spot at the title of Denton's Best. Competition is ramping up and competitors are strong. We have to see that competitors are wanting to become the best of Denton. But what does that title really mean? Denton, Best of Denton is a yearly celebration promoting businesses and organizations that show the best of what Denton offers. It takes place every year around the end of May. Across the Denton County, many stores compete for the Denton's title of Denton's Best, with high stakes to raise rapport for their companies. Denton Record Chronicles determines the Best of Denton winners by gathering readers' nominations of favorite businesses through an online ballot. Nominations for companies are listed until May 19th, and voting will start June 10th at 12 a.m. Central. If you have a favorite business or organization you have seen that has impacted your life, you can always help with casting them for nominations in this year's ballot. We have some tough competitors this year trying to grab glory for their companies. Make sure you go to bestofdenton.com to cast your nominations and also cast your votes until June to see who will become the best of Denton. That's all. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Giancarlo. I've got to be honest, Mauricio. My favorite place, Hanabi, has to be my vote.
I mean, Hanabi is definitely one of my favorites, but I think LSA Burger takes the lead on this one for me, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, coming up, an update on the Boeing Airlines allegations and safety precautions.
And how forever chemicals could affect your health. Stay with us.
And now we return to Fabric of Passion.
Oh, Hector, it will be so hard for us to part, but we must.
But, my love, what did I do? I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be, to someone else, in a better place.
You're gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought you'd be more distressed.
Oh, absolutely not. It was cramped in your closet anyways.
Maybe you would like to be shredded after all.
Aircraft manufacturer Boeing is now facing serious allegations of ignoring safety precautions. These accusations came today during congressional hearings held in Washington. Current and former employees are now speaking out against what they call a broken safety culture at the company. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez has more on the story.
Boeing feeling the pressure as current and former employees join a panel of witnesses testifying before a Senate subcommittee about what the hearing title called a broken safety culture at the company.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is a criminal cover-up.
Sam Salahpour, a quality engineer for Boeing, says when assembling the fuselage on 787 aircrafts, gaps between pieces were left too wide, creating stress which could lead to fatigue and failure over time.
I want to make clear that I have raised these issues over 3 years. I was ignored. I was told not to create delays. I was told, frankly, to shut up.
Ahead of Wednesday's testimony, Boeing said inspections found no evidence of fatigue in parts of the plane now facing questions. The company released a statement reading in part, "We are fully confident in the 787 Dreamliner. These claims about structural integrity of the 787 are inaccurate and do not represent the comprehensive work Boeing has done to ensure the quality and long-term safety of the aircraft." Boeing has faced more than 5 years of questions over its commercial jets following 2 deadly crashes of a different model, the 737 MAX. January's door plug blowout aboard an Alaska Airlines flight added to the pressure. In an earlier hearing Wednesday, a panel of experts informed Congress of a series of recommendations they have made to the FAA for how to fix the issues at Boeing.
There needs to be an environment of psychological safety. They need to learn from that and communicate it and pass it on.
Those of us who have gotten spoiled by waiting at home for online orders are going to have to keep an eye out for the sky thanks to a new delivery system coming to North Texas. NTTV's Aaliyah Bordeaux has more on the story. Aaliyah?
Thank you, Chanel. A new drone delivery service at 2 North Texas Walmart locations is set to begin next week. The operations are to start Monday, April 22nd at the Walmart Supercenter located at 9101 North Tarrant Parkway and Monday, April 29th at the Walmart Supercenter located at 6401 Northeast Loop 820. Walmart and Wing Aviation partnered to provide the service for those North Texas locations. The North Richland Hills City Council approved the landing spots for the delivery service in February. Operating hours will be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, and the new delivery service will be available to anyone within 4 miles of either store, including customers in neighboring cities. The drones carry up to 2.5 pounds. They're designed for over-the-counter meds, movie night snacks, and late-night ingredients for your late-night meal. I think I might be ordering a drone order for myself. That's all I have for you guys today. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Aaliyah. And you know, those drones look pretty cool. We should totally get one of those for the station.
Definitely, as long as they don't get lost in the clouds, because I don't know how long this cloudy forecast is going to continue. But maybe our weather anchor, Kayla Bumpus, knows. What do you think, Kayla?
Well, Chanel, while it may seem like we are stuck in the clouds, at least it is finally warming up here in North Texas. As you can see, lots of 80s around me. In Graham, 85, in Stephenville, 81, over in Fort Worth, 83, along with Decatur and Bowie. Up in Gainesville, 82, in Sherman, 81. Across the state, similar temperatures. It's definitely heating up around here. Amarillo, 86, and Abilene, 90. El Paso, 85, Shreveport, 81, and Houston, 80. Let's take a look at this week's forecast. As you can see, tomorrow there is a high chance of thunderstorms and rain, a high of 87, a low of 54. Friday, that rain will clear up, but we will still see some clouds, a high of 66, a low of 56. Saturday, the chance for rain is high again, 92, a high of 60, and a low of 50. Sunday, those clouds will begin to clear up for a little bit, a high of 63, a low of 47. Monday, full sun, which will last till Tuesday, a high of 71, a low of 56. Tuesday, a high of 78, a low of 62. And Wednesday, unfortunately, those clouds will be back with a high of 81, a low of 64, and a 41% chance of rain. That's all I have for you guys. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. The last 10 months have been the hottest we've ever seen worldwide. That trend might burn a literal hole in our pockets. NTTV's Lashley Loudermill is here to give us an inside look into the financial impact of climate change. Ashley?
Climate issues are expected to cost $38 trillion worth of economic damage by the year 2050. That will translate a roughly 20% drop in global income over the next 26 years. It's all happening because extreme damage caused by the deteriorating climate. Extreme weather is expensive with the repairs needed after severe flooding, earthquakes, and raging wildfires. Record-breaking heat waves can result in crop losses and workers getting less work done. And the studies just published in journal Nature says that the economic impact will be less if the nations took a Paris climate agreement. Mauricio and Chanel, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Ashley. It's a major win for environmentalists with a groundbreaking national standard set to limit forever chemicals in our drinking water. NTTV's Chris Cordova reveals the hidden dangers and shares the tips to reduce your exposure. Chris?
Thanks, Chanel. The Biden administration just set the first national standard to limit so-called forever chemicals that are found in nearly half of all U.S. drinking water. According to the CDC, around 97% of Americans already have these chemicals in their blood. Forever chemicals can be found in everyday items such as sunscreen, makeup, and even pizza boxes. Prolonged exposure to forever chemicals has been linked to serious health conditions such as kidney damage, liver damage, and even cancer. Under this new standard, water utilities have 3 years to test their water for chemicals and another 2 years to install technology to filter them out should they exceed the new limit. If you're looking to limit your exposure to forever chemicals, experts say to avoid stain and water-resistant products. If you're getting takeout, remove the food from the plastic or styrofoam restaurant containers before reheating it. When you're cooking at home, you might also want to steer clear of non-stick cookware. And if you can, filter your drinking water with activated carbon. The new standard will require water utilities to filter out 5 types of forever chemicals. I'll definitely be more careful the next time I get takeout. That's all I have. For the final time, back to you at the desk.
Wow, we're almost done, Marmar.
Thanks, Chris. After the break, we've gotten an interview with experts in creating a new language and not necessarily one that could be taught as an elective in school.
And one of the biggest WNBA superstars is coming to Dallas. We've got more later in the show.
The do's and don'ts of the Pole Rec Center. See that man over there? Please do not hog weights. Instead, do this. Another important part is having an attentive spotter. See, here is an example of a non-attentive spotter. Instead, do this. Now we head to the track, which should be pretty easy, just it's important to pay attention to the way the track goes. Remember to wipe down the equipment after you're done using it. The towels are provided by the gym, so it's pretty easy to wipe down the equipment when you are done. Thank you for using the Pole Recreation Center.
Hey Mauricio, have you heard of languages like Dothraki and Klingon?
No, I have not.
Well, that's because they're not real.
You're kidding.
Nope, they are entirely made up from fiction like Game of Thrones and Star Trek. But even though these languages may not be used in everyday life, UNT students are proving that there's a lot to learn from them. NTTV's Chris Cordova tells us more. Chris, good one?
Ever wonder where your favorite fictional languages like Klingon from Star Trek or Dothraki from Game of Thrones come from? Well, we have linguistics major Annalise Buehler and Carter Smith who have the answer. They have found a method that compares natural languages like English and Spanish to constructed languages that finds the similarities between the two. So my first question is for you, Annalise. What are constructed languages?
So constructed languages are really cool, honestly. Whereas you have like natural languages like English, Spanish, Korean, Turkish, whatever, those languages are languages that have evolved naturally over hundreds to thousands of years. But conlangs, as we call them, arise pretty quickly. They're made by human hands, and they've been made since the 1800s and before that. But there's three types of conlangs. There's artlangs, ingelangs, and auxlangs, and so different creators will make different types of conlangs based on what they're interested in.
Okay. And so my next question is kind of for both of y'all. What methods do y'all use to conduct your research finding this?
So the field that we're delving into that we're using to compare these things is the field of information theory. And information theory is concerned with sort of like quantifying and measuring the way information is carried in different forms of communication, specifically language. And so there are particular patterns that can arise within a language. What we call positional entropy is the metric we're focusing on, that tells us about throughout a word how much information is carried in each segment of it as you move from one end of the word to the other on average throughout a language. And so we're really curious if these patterns, like that you'd find in English, are different in some fundamental ways of the patterns that arise from constructed languages, because that's not a thing anyone's intentionally designing, as far as we know yet.
Okay. And so my next question is: this project is meant to explore the human's mind's understanding of language, but can you tell me a little bit more in depth? What exactly are you investigating about that understanding?
Well, I suppose the thing is, it depends on what we find. We don't actually know yet if there's a difference in these metrics between constructed languages and natural languages. If there is, then what we want to be able to do is take a constructed language that we don't even know anything about and have a machine tell us that that's a constructed language, or that's a...
Which would be really handy for things like undeciphered manuscripts, things like that.
But if not, if there isn't a fundamental difference, that tells us something about the way information and language is constructed in the human mind, and that information pattern is innate to humans.
Okay. And so my last question is going to be, what has been like the funnest part about doing this project?
Probably the conferences that we got to present at. Carter and I had 2 different conferences happen at the same time, so I took one and Carter took the other. And yeah, they were really fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun getting to share our work.
All right. So I guess when it comes to watch season 2 of House of the Dragon in June, keep your ear out for the con language, because it might just become something that you can study. And as they say in Dothraki, Fini Kash Arhan Rekmak.
Son of Komari Yiran, Chris. Say, Chanel, do you keep up with the WNBA at all?
Of course, you know I have to keep up with my girls.
Well, then I bet you'll be excited to hear that our Dallas Wings are facing off against the #1 pick, Caitlin Clark, and the Indiana Fever for the first game of the preseason.
Ooh, that does sound exciting. Why don't we toss it over to our sports anchor, Mackenzie Freeman, who's bringing us a special guest to give us some insight on how the Wings are responding to Caitlin Clark being in the league. Mackenzie?
Thanks, Chanel. I'm joined here by
event presentation coordinator for the Dallas Wing, Michelle Brooks. So obviously the WNBA draft was this past Monday, and you guys picked up JC Sheldon from Ohio State, Carla Late from France, and Ashley Owusu from Penn State. How do the Wings feel about bringing these 3 players into their organization?
You know, it's exciting when you get to be front lines and see it all happen. And we're very blessed at the Wings to have a front office and a president who wants us to know what's going on and why decisions were made. And so the following morning after the draft, he said, let's all have an optional staff meeting and I'll tell you why I picked everyone. But all in all, at the end of the staff meeting, giving us the rundown of why and who, you know, he said, I'm confident we got better last night because the Wings are in a really great position. They're not rebuilding, they're finding those supporting pieces, so.
And then, obviously, like Mauricio stated, preseason game, first game is up against the Indiana Fever. And, you know, with Caitlin Clark being on that team, the #1 pick, and as the event presentation coordinator, how are you guys preparing for that game?
Well, it's really exciting because we gambled on this. We were kind of hoping that, you know, Caitlin Clark was going to go to the Fever were going to get the first pick in the lottery, and we did get that. The stars aligned. So the first time Caitlin Clark will ever be in a WNBA jersey ever in her life and step on a court and play a game will be here in Dallas. So obviously that's extremely exciting, but the numbers show. I mean, records are breaking across the board. You hear it on the news about the broadcast numbers, the attendance, but that is showing for sales, ticket sales. I mean, Indiana has sold more than they've sold in years ×5. It's insane. And for us, I mean, we have no premium seats left, and season tickets, or single game tickets, excuse me, go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I just got an email that they're expected to sell out very, very quick. So,
so guys, you better go get your tickets. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us. And we all hope the Dallas Wings do well this season.
Thank you.
And then stay tuned because coming up next, I have some pretty exciting news about some other DFW teams coming up after the break.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
The Dallas Stars are back in action tonight against the St. Louis Blues for their last game of the season. Not only is this game fan appreciation night, but they also have a chance of winning the Western Conference regular season title, something they haven't been able to do since the 2015-2016 season. And speaking of teams getting locked in for the playoffs, the Dallas Mavericks will be facing off against the Clippers this Sunday to kick off the first round of the NBA playoffs. This 4-seed versus 5-seed battle will feature an old school, new school feel as Luka Doncic will be taking on Kawhi Leonard. Hopefully the third time is the charm for the Mavericks, as in the last 2 out of 3 playoffs, Luka Doncic and the Mavs have lost first round to the Clippers. Tune in to the NBA this next week to see if the Mavericks can break the curse. That's all I have for sports, but I have a question for you guys. Are you smarter than a celebrity?
No, I don't know, Mackenzie. Some of these celebrities are smarter than we think.
Yeah, I don't really know either, but why do you ask?
Well, you know, we may see Travis Kelce as just a star football player, but he's actually been selected to host a new game show called Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? If you remember, back in 2008, Celebrity Family Feud made its debut, and now Amazon Prime will be taking its own shot at reviving a game show by releasing a spinoff of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Prime says Travis Kelce not only engages guests, panelists, and viewers, but he also has a natural comedic dynamic.
Well, I Can't say I'm smarter than a 5th grader, so I don't think I'll be invited on that show anytime soon. What about you, Chanel?
Yeah, me either. I think the only show we should be sticking to is NTTV.
I mean, I think you guys could host it though.
Maybe hosting. We'll have to see in the future. But thanks for watching NTTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow at noon and tomorrow evening at 6 here on North Texas Television.